Hello everybody and welcome back to Stellaris, where we are currently at peace, and I believe the contingency threat is not completely over yet. They're still bombarding down over here, right? Okay, oh yeah, that's definitely happening. One of those fleets was named the Moist. Yeah, there it is. Okay, under the hegemony there, third one down, the Moist. Okay, that's quite a name for a fleet. Sure, that's fine. We have 14,000 alloys right now. We should be maxed on our fleets, so we don't need to work on that. This Forge world does need a job. And we're going to build an industrial district. We're a little bit shy on our minerals. I'm not too concerned about that. We have a plan for that. This agri world is needing housing and a job. An agriculture district satisfies both of those requirements. So that sounds good. What else do we have going on here, jobs-wise? Anything? Nope, that's nothing. Okay, the cash query is down over this way, just kind of chilling. I feel like you should be back up at Tiamat, like assisting research or something. That would be nice. So we'll head up over there. I want to... Okay, we're still building our rings, our orbital rings at this point. That's fine. We see that this habitation ring can be upgraded, and we're going to do so. This habitation ring can be upgraded as well. We're just barely lacking a little bit of influence for it. It's not even a full number of influence that we're lacking. Not even a full integer here. Okay, that's exciting. Well, we'll get it next month, and we'll get this going. Any moment now. You can do it, month tick. There we go. Beautiful. So we'll get that going. We've got a good amount of influence. We'll be okay on minerals for a little while here. I'm reasonably confident in that. Our military fleets are all good to go. There's nothing to be done there. And we've got these two megastructures going. So that is all of our megastructure construction that we can currently do. And it's going to take us some time. And that's fine. Our construction ships are, of course, building orbital rings, which are kind of megastructures, but they don't really count towards the cap. And they're 61. They're both exactly the same done ratio here. That's exciting. Okay. Well, I'll let them continue with that for now. We've got this habitation ring, which is apparently not connected to the Starbase network. Does it need to be? The Ofang station is not, and it does need to be. That should just be connected via the gateway to Nightbirth, just like that. Okay. Well, just like that. There we go. Now it should be connected. Are there any of these others that are disconnected right now? The Vernier station. Same thing here. This should just be connected to Nightbirth. Tethel station. That one is gonna be disconnected, because we lost Jebben's Maelstrom in the last war. Not much we can do about that. The Nixris station, I mean, the Polymar station is going to remain disconnected. The Nixris station is going to connect over to, like, Karathor, which will itself connect directly to Nightbirth. Actually, Weir would be able to connect directly to Nightbirth as well. So, something like that. The Tethel station is going to remain disconnected. The Bazanak station here... Well, Ascension's End can connect into Nightbirth. Halvam can also connect directly into Nightbirth. And then Bazanak can connect into Halvam, like that. Then we've got the Polymar station down here, which will remain disconnected for the moment. There's not a huge amount we can do about that. Okay, so now I want to look in at the orbital ring here. This orbital ring will remain disconnected. So will this one. Yeah, there's just nothing we can do about those being disconnected at this moment. That's valid. Okay. I mean, we can build gateways in these locations, and that's maybe not a terrible idea. But that's down the road, assuming we don't get declared on, right? We're probably going to get declared on, if I had to guess here. If anything about how this game has gone is telling me anything, it's going to be that. We're going to get attacked. We're going to reverse engineer an arcane technology here. We're going to celebrate diversity if we can, and we absolutely can. We're going to find peaceful applications for right now. I think we might just go with broad happiness, and then we're also going to sell to private investors. There we go. Or rather, collectors. Perfect. So that does bump our unity up quite a bit. We can get another tradition tree picked very, very soon here. That sounds great. We're at 21k alloys at this moment, and one thing we can start doing with our alloys... Assaulting the Zeltec Envoy? We'll take the 30 influence, actually. We're pretty influence capped right now. So one thing we can do with our alloys is we can go into our bastions here, and we can start building in defenses. We've been planning to do this, but we haven't gotten to it. So I'm kind of feeling like we just have a singular ion cannon, and then max the rest out with bulky class defense platforms. We're probably going to be limited on dark matter here. Yes, that is correct. So we're definitely going to want to work on this dark matter here. I'm going to buy in 500 of it. And we're just going to queue up a bunch of these bulky class defense platforms. There we go. That's all of our alloys gone for the time being. And we'll just work our way through this. These will definitely take some time. In fact, I'd kind of like to get some of this back. And we should probably just get an ion cannon working in each of these locations for right now. So we just put in an ion cannon in each of our bastions. Do we have the alloys for that? And then we can start working through these with our bulky class defense platforms. And I actually want to look at our ship design for that. Yeah, we just had the alloys to get an ion cannon for each of these. Okay, cool. I like it. We can also start thinking about having some of these stations, like, for example, Polymar here, becoming a defensive station, some of these more exposed areas. And this Tethel is already one, so that's good. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. So I want to switch Polymar over here. I'm actually going to buy in 250 alloys to make that happen. We're going to do gun, torpedo, hangar. Gun, torpedo, hangar. We're going to replace this hydroponics bay with a target uplink computer. We've already got a defense grid supercomputer and a communications jammer on here. I'm going to put in... Do we go for the ancient shield overcharger to buff up our defense platform's shields? Or do we just go for the disruption field generator? I think we're just going to go for the disruption field generator for now. And then as soon as we have another month tick here, we'll get a vaporized class ion cannon in here. Life finds a way indeed. A new species that is a crossbreed of Racket and Maloqui. Okay, that's exciting. We're going to get an ion cannon done here as soon as this month tick occurs, which will be now. Beautiful. And now I want to look at the bulky class defense platforms. So that's these guys. This is what we're rocking right now. We've got a light and a medium station section. Given these options, we could do a heavy station section and then a medium station section, with the heavy section being intended to have, like, Stormfire autocannons, perhaps? Or maybe even kinetic artillery for the range. I want this to be about taking down shields. And then I want the medium ones here to be about taking down armor, right? So this would be a range of 0 to 60. But plasma cannons here for taking down armor and doing extra damage to hull. That would be the idea here. We would go back up to sapient combat computers. I think we can do that now, right? I'm not sure. We should look into that. We'll come back to that one. And then as far as our defenses here, we're just going to put in living reactive armor will be fine. Do we have a source of living metal? No, we don't. So we actually need to go to regular reactive armor here. And then we would put in a shield hardener. So like an advanced shield hardener here. There's a large ancient suspension field, which is interesting. But I think we'll just go for the advanced shield hardener, and we'll go for... Do we go for dark matter shields for these? Probably dark matter deflectors and dragon scale armor. Something like that. So that'll make them reasonably tough. And they'll do good damage output as well. Do we have anything better than plasma cannons for taking down armor in terms of, like, per day damage? Hide obsolete components, please. Lasers, of course, are shield damage, or rather, are good against armor, but they're 29.84, actually 14.22. So they're actually a little bit better against armor. No, they're not, because of that 100% armor damage. So this is functionally 30, right? Phase disruptors are penetrating armor. Cavitation collapsers are armor penetration and armor damage, but I don't think that's amazing here. Ancient macro batteries are good against shields. Saturator artillery, good against shields. And I mean, yeah, the saturator artillery is a good X slot, but we don't have anything for that right now. We may want to go back and take a look at some of our ships, though, at some point. I think we're going to leave this be. Let's go back into some of our bigger ships here. So we've got the Corvette here, which is, of course, fine. I'm not too concerned about that. This is, of course, designed to take down shields, right? This is designed to take down armor and hull. Frigates we're not actually using. The Rugged-class destroyers are intended to take down shields. The Robust-class cruisers are intended to take down armor and hull. Battleships are very heavily focused on kinetic artillery and firing from long range to take down shields. They're not so good against armor, which is expected. And then we've got our Titans with the Perdition Beam here doing basically the same thing. I think these are all fine, now that I look at it. I was wondering mostly if we had Ancient Saturator artillery here, and we do. So that looks absolutely fine there. So let's tick on forward here. We're going to work on getting all of these bastions set up later on. And we do need to get the... Okay, we got the Ion Cannon and Polymar. So we do need to get these defense platforms going soon enough. It's going to be a lot in terms of dark matter, but I'm not too concerned about that for right now. This is really a back burner sort of project, right? Getting all of this done, and maintaining it's going to be a bit of a beast. So we'll see how that ends up going. Oh, right. I did want to go in and check to see... Ships with Sapient combat computers still have minus 20% firing rate. Okay. And minus 2 tracking. So we're not wanting to run Sapient combat computers still. Do we have anything in our situation log about that? No, apparently not. Cool, so the go signal is going to go away once this last machine world does, right? We're going into this system, it's going to be very slow. I want to take a look at how they're doing on this bombardment. It's incredibly slow. Oh, wow, okay. This frame rate is like... This is measured in seconds per frame. It's at 42%. Cool, let's get out of here. There we go. Much better. Paradox really, really needs to find a way to accelerate that particular bottleneck. There's probably a draw call thing, if I had to guess. But of course, I don't know that. That's just speculation. So we're going to hop into the Bastion here, and do we just work our way down the list? Quite possibly. We've got this habitation ring here, and these can also build defense platforms, I want to point out. Up to 24 of them. So that's not a terrible idea to do so. They do have upkeep, don't they? I'm not seeing that there's upkeep there. Interesting. Very interesting indeed. So we need a system capital complex on the planet to go up to orbital ring tier 3. That's fine. How are we doing on our constructions here? Oh, we're actually done over here in Dongar. So we just finished up with what? That would have been... It's in here somewhere. Would have been Dongar Prime. Here. So we need to head down this direction. Cool. We've got a lot of orbital rings to build. We can build a mega structure over this way, and orbital ring it is. On our Forge Capital, we've got additional industrial districts we can build thanks to our orbital ring. So we'll certainly get to work on that one. This orbital ring can be upgraded, and so we shall. We're lacking influence to upgrade this one. We'll have enough to do that in about 3 months, so that's not too bad. We want to keep these upgrading as much as possible, of course. So this is all looking good. No major issues here. The only thing that I'm really flagging as issues right now is our naval capacity and our mineral income. Both of those do need to be worked on, but the mineral income I'm not too worried about. We can always build a matter decompressor once we're done constructing some of these guys down here, right? Some of these guys. There we go. So that's going to be the plan there. And Polymar Station is converting on over. That's looking solid. We can also eventually get an upgrade over here. Yeah, that's going to take some time to have the influence for all of this. We're definitely going to be influence limited, and I'm very glad that we're gaining the extra influence from our ambition right now. Cool. So that's all looking great. We can keep this spent down very, very easily. 12 influence at this point. Okay, we're up to 12k alloys, so obviously we're not spending down our alloys as quickly as we are spending down our influence, right? There's no doubt about that, but we can very, very easily make up for that by coming down here and just spending our alloys on our defense platforms. How much do we have for dark matter right now? Almost 500. Looks good. So we should have enough to queue up all of our defense platforms here. Enough dark matter, I mean. We don't have enough alloys, obviously. The Nightburst Station Starbase has finished its construction queue. I don't think there was a Starbase building there. I think that's this guy. Yeah. So we definitely want to get a habitation module here. Now, that's the only one that actually requires influence, and I do want to get this upgrading first. So we're going to get that going, and we're going to need influence to build a habitation module here. Otherwise, I don't really care too much about all of this other stuff. This is mostly not the point of orbital rings, as far as I'm concerned. The point of orbital rings are not to replace a starbase, at least in my head. It's to enhance the planet. So that's why we're building so many habitation modules here. You could make an argument that, like, an orbital ring over here, like this one here, really should be set up in that way. We do have energy credit in boosting here, and a defense grid supercomputer. Hang on, what do we have going on here? This is a forge world. Energy credits from technicians don't really help us at all. We should put in an alloy processing facility here. And then as far as the defense grid supercomputer goes, we're kind of like a backup mining location. So low gravity mega refiners, perhaps. Yeah, that seems to make sense to me. So that's the way that I'm going to be using orbital rings. I'm going to be using them to defend planets, whereas star bases are being used to defend systems. Star bases and fleets. So planets are being enhanced by orbital rings. I'm not viewing them at this time as a defensive option, even though they can be one. And they may migrate into sort of being a defensive option as we build defensive platforms over them. It would be a quasi-defensive option. It's not really the focus of what I'm trying to do with our orbital rings. So for now, that's fine. This is over Nightbirth, right? So I want to see here, if we look at the planet in question, I want to see, this is basically entirely focused on alloy production. We've got the one advanced research complex, but what else would we want in this starbase as far as a building goes? What indeed? It's very heavily focused on industrial districts and industrial production. Very, very much so. We have basically no backup facility for mining. Although we could theoretically replace our posthumous employment center with a mineral processing plant. I don't know that that's a great concept, though. For the time being, I'm going to put in a habitation module here. I'd love it if we could put in a second alloy processing facility. Unfortunately, there's a limit of 1. I suppose we could go with something like an orbital filing system. How many bureaucrats, managers, priests, and telepaths do we have on here? Probably not many. We have 4 executives, a politician. We have some culture workers. But those are not bureaucrats. It's interesting to me that culture workers are not boosted up by the Unity building. That's very interesting. Why would that be, I wonder? Because this is, I guess, intended to be, like, administrative. Huh. I would have expected culture workers to be boosted by that. Maybe that's an oversight by Paradox. I don't know. We could just go for trade value. We have 171 trade value here. That's not a terrible concept. And we also gain additional amenities from clerks. We're overkill on our amenities right now. But that doesn't seem terrible. A synergy forum, huh? Interesting. Well, for now, I think that'll do for this world. We definitely want to get an additional module slot going here. Yeah, these guys are building a juggernaut. I hope they have fun with that. So, yeah, we already have that queued. All looks good there. So looking at the rest of these habitation rings, or rather, orbital rings, there's not a whole lot going on here. The Cache Fabricate 2 is set to automatically construct, and it didn't actually come down here and build that observation post. We'll order it to do so directly, and the Tethel Starbase has finished its construction. So that is this guy down over here. Cool. We're building the ion cannon there. That looks absolutely fine. We definitely don't want to get more construction ships because of influence costs. I would love to build more orbital rings, but as of right now, we can't. I wish we could split out our orbital rings from our star bases, because in my head, anyway, even if they're clearly implemented the same way in-game, in my head, they're very different things for very different purposes. You can spec them out to be very, very similar, though. And in a location like Tethel, that might not be the worst of ideas. So essentially, we would end up... We would only get the 2 buildings. It would be like a defense grid supercomputer and probably like a target uplink computer. That would be what we would do there if we were targeting having this be a defensive platform. But I don't think it's a good idea to do it. I would much rather defend our worlds, or rather our systems, with star bases and fleets. And use the orbital rings to enhance planets. I really think that's a better way to go. So for now, we've got the Sithrin station. This is currently a Gaia world set up as a Forge world. We can't repair that hyper entertainment forum. I'm actually just going to demolish it. We're not going to want to repair it. We've got plenty of amenities here. We've got 2 mining districts, which probably we want to remove. But for right now, we can put in... Well, we don't need to put in a construction district there. We can put in, certainly, an alloy processing facility here. No doubt about that. And then we would put in a habitation module. Cool. Any other upgrades that need to be done in our orbital rings? Not at this moment, so let's go check in on our megastructures real quick. They are underway. And let's check on jobs. Any other economic upgrades needing to be done here? Well, we've got this generator world here that I'm actually going to designate a mining world. We are short on minerals. We're probably going to want to potentially respec this after we get our matter decompressors online. But for now, this'll do. That will definitely help offset our issues there. What else do we have going on here jobs-wise? Anything? Absolutely not. Okay. So we're finishing up over at Suhiri. That looks fine for now. And we know that our last world that we built an orbital ring around was Atropatene Prime. So Ethos Prime is going to be the next one. So I'm going to come out over this direction and queue up our mega structure here if we can. What is the cost on that for influence? Okay, 50. That'll be a bit yet. Sounds good. It is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to continue our construction. We have a lot of work ahead of us on that front. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Shadow Wolf, MLohan80, Rogue Corvid, Kentogan, Andy Magar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. I just noticed that we just finished the research for Matter Decompressor. We'll cover that next episode. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.